Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today I'm going to give you 10 awesome signature scents, cologne fragrances. So let's jump into it. All right, so today we are talking signature scent fragrances. Fragrances that in my opinion have some great versatility. You can wear them across different occasions throughout the year and they're just gonna work for you every time. Technically, anything can be a signature scent if you wear it all the time, but today I'm gonna give you a nice variety of what I think would be great versatile fragrances across a variety of different brands and a variety of different scent profiles. Something for everybody hopefully in this video. So links are gonna be down in the description if you decide you wanna check any of these fragrances out. Also have some coupon codes that save yourself a few bucks at a variety of different discounters if you decide you want to shop with them. So let's quit screwing around and let's get into it. All right, kicking things off, going to the house of Armaf with Armaf's Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir. Now, this fragrance is kind of a hybrid twist on a couple different fragrances. It's got that Dior Sauvage style of DNA, a little bit of this Creed Aventus vibe going on to it once you get towards that dry down, and just a little kiss of some Baccarat Rouge 540 sweetness in that dry down. But through and through, this is just a really nice mass appeal, crowd-pleasing, versatile style of fragrance. Opens up with some nice citruses. You get some tangentes, you get some bergamot, you get a nice pink pepper adding some sweetness, a little bit of a spice. A little hint of some aromatics coming through, so you get some lavender, you get a little bit of geranium, so it has a nice kind of clean, fresh sort of feel, kind of that nice aromatics lifting up those spices with those citruses, adding that kind of that brightness to it as well. But as you get towards the dry down, you get a little bit more earthy tones coming through, you get some more wood, some cedar that comes through, a little bit of added patchouli, and it's nice ambroxan push to it. So it maintains that Dior Sauvage style of DNA, but those earthy tones and those woods that come through do kind of remind me of the Creed Aventus or the Club de Nuit Intense Man style of DNA that comes through. So it's kind of a mix of those two fragrances in that way. And there is some amberiness that comes through, adding a little bit of additional sweetness that gives you that little kiss of that kind of Baccarat Rouge 540 style of sweetness. Not quite a one-to-one of that, but you'll know what I mean when you wear this one. It just has that sort of vibe going on to it. And through, great compliment beast, easy to reach for, mass appealing, versatile style of fragrance that just works every single time and can be a great signature scent. Performance on this is really good. I get about 2 hours worth of solid projection, and it does last on skin for about 8 hours before fading into a skin scent. Get some on your clothing and you definitely push that out. So if you're looking for that mass appeal, crowd pleasing, kind of masculine, bold style of fragrance that has a little bit of a flirty side to it, you might want to check this one out. That's Armaf's Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir. All right, next up, going with the sub-brand of Lattafa, and it's Lattafa's Rave Royal Supreme, the King. Now, this fragrance is an absolute hidden gem in my opinion, and a great twist on that homage Reflection Man style of DNA. And as you can see, I wear this quite a bit, put a big dent on this bottle because absolutely gorgeous scent profile on this. Really nice aromatics that come through, some pink pepper and some cardamom adding some spice to it. And a really nice iris note that works its way in there. So you get this lavender, this clary sage, this juniper that adds a really nice aromatic, clean freshness to this with some sweetness and some spice coming from that cardamom as well as that pink pepper. And you get a really nice, bright, clean style of neroli kind of adding to that freshness and that cleanliness to it. And then you get that iris note that adds kind of like a warm, sensual coziness to it and a really nice texture that works its way in there. And a little bit of a vanillic profile that comes through with some like tonka beans, some vanilla, and perhaps a little bit of benzoin as well. And just through and through, this is a really nice, fresh, clean, yet like warm, sensual style of fragrance that's just a perfect, versatile signature scent. You can wear this from casual to date night, and you can even dress this one up, and it's great across pretty much every season. Awesome fragrance, smells fantastic, and the performance on this is pretty good as well. I get about 8 hours worth of longevity, and it does push off fairly well for the first hour and a half or so before it does settle back in. So if you're looking for a nice kind of twist on that homage Reflection Man style of DNA, or just kind of a nice, fresh, clean, yet warm, sensual, sexy style of fragrance, you definitely want to check this one out. That's Lattafa's Rave Royal Supreme, the King. All right, next up, going to the house of Fragrance World with Fragrance World's Harmony Code Absolute. Now, this fragrance is pretty much a spot-on clone of the Armani Code Absolute, and absolutely in love with this fragrance. Has a really nice kind of fresh style of opening, but it's got some nice warmth to it as well. So it has this orange, this apple, this orange blossom, little punch of this nutmeg, and this beautiful sensual vanilla. So the orange and the apple in this have a nice kind of fruity crispness to it, adding kind of a lightness to this. The orange blossom has a kind of a nice soft florally touch, adding to that sweetness that's there as well. But the nutmeg contrasts against it really nice, adding kind of a nice masculine punch with that nutmeg. And then you get that beautiful, like sexy, delicious, sensual style of vanilla coming through, mixing in with all those scent accords. It's just a really nice kind of balance between those sweet accords, that soft floral touch, and that spice that works in here. And it's just a gorgeous, masculine, sexy style of fragrance. But as this gets towards the dry down, it really becomes more about that tonka in here. So if you're familiar with the Armani, very similar tonka note that comes in, and that's where it absolutely shines with that tonka. It has that vanillic accord, that nutmeg still sticks around, but it still has that orange blossom, kind of adding a bit of a freshness to it, a little bit of a soft floral edge to it. So you can wear this across a variety of different seasons. I think this is a great fall and winter style of fragrance, but I think you could definitely pull this off in the spring and some of those cooler summer days. You can definitely pull this one off, and it's just absolutely versatile across occasions. You can wear this casually, you can wear this to the office, you can wear this on date nights, and you can dress this one up. Just a great versatile signature scent style of fragrance. Performance on this is pretty good. I get about 2 hours worth of projection before it does settle back in, and I'm clocking between 6 and 8 hours off my skin before it really kind of fades into a skin scent, but get some on your clothing and you can definitely push that one out. So if you're looking for kind of a nice kind of sexy, flirty, yet masculine style of fragrance that is really versatile and be a great signature scent, you might want to check this one out. That's Fragrance World's Harmony Code Absolute. All right, next up, going to the house of Khadlaj with Khadlaj Shiyaaka Blue. Now, this fragrance is also kind of a hybrid of two fragrances, if you will. We got that Blue de Chanel style of vibe, so it has that fresh, clean, shower jelly vibe sort of thing going on to it, but it's also got this kind of fun, flirty, youthful edge to it with some bubblegummy sweetness that comes through that really reminds me of Paco Rabanne's Invictus. So kind of a hybrid twist on those two fragrances. So it opens up some nice citruses, some really nice clean aromatics. It has this lavender in there, but it has that bubblegummy sweetness. And a little bit of some spice and earthiness that comes through, almost like this basil note that works its way in there, adding a bit of kind of a masculine edge to it, adding to those aromatics, that nice clean lavender that's in there. But it has this really nice kind of ambery musk that comes through, and this nice kind of masculine cedar wood that forms the base for all this to sit on. So it has that mass appeal, crowd pleasing style of kind of fresh shower jelly Blue de Chanel style of DNA, but it's got that really youthful vibe with that bubblegum sweetness that comes through that you would find in the Paco Rabanne Invictus. And through, great signature scent, especially for those looking to kind of wear more of a youthful scent DNA. Doesn't matter what age you are, but if you're looking for kind of a more youthful style of scent profile, this one will definitely get you. And the performance on this, really good. I get great projection for the first 2 to 3 hours, and it does last on my skin for 8+ hours. So great performance on this, great smelling dumb reach style of fragrance that you can wear across pretty much every season and every different occasion, and it's just gonna work. And I think it's worth checking out. That's Khadlaj Shiyaaka Blue. All right, up next, we're going with a fragrance house that I've only recently come across, and I'm really digging it so far, and that's Vach Cittoni 11. Now, this fragrance is a beautiful inspired by of the Creed Green Irish Tweed, and let me tell you, I absolutely love this fragrance. The quality, the smoothness of it, it just has this nice fresh cleanness to it, but also this kind of the sexy masculine sort of vibe going on. Opens with this really nice mint, this lemon zest, as well as this violet. The mint in this is really nice. I enjoy it. It has that kind of fresh, spicy aspect to it, but it has that kind of that sweet spearmint sort of vibe going on to it as well. So it adds some sweetness, it adds a little bit of spice, and it mixes in really well with this kind of this pop of this lemon zest, and then it all blends in with this violet note that's just adds this really nice soft texture to it, a little bit of floral sweetness to it, but also kind of a little bit of spice at the same point. Just absolutely gorgeous combination of those notes. As this opens up a little bit more, you get a nice ambroxan push that comes through, and this nice smooth creamy style of sandalwood that forms the base. Little pop of some iris comes through as well, adding some additional texture, just kind of adds to the smoothness of the sandalwood that comes through. And through, this is just a beautiful, clean, fresh, sexy style inspired by of the Creed Green Irish Tweed. And I'm absolutely loving this one, and this does perform it really well. I'm getting about 2 hours worth of solid projection, and it does last on my skin for 8+ hours before it really fades into a skin scent, but it still lingers at that point. Like I said, it's an extrait de parfum, so this one just kind of keeps going and going as a skin scent and gets them on your clothing, and it's gonna push out even further than that. So really digging this one, really big fan of the Vach Cittoni line so far, eager to check more out, and I think this one's worth checking out. That's Vach Cittoni's 11. All right, next up, going to the house of Lattafa, and it's Lattafa Pride's Vintage Radio. Now, this fragrance is a beautiful interpretation of Initio's Paragon, and I absolutely love this fragrance. It's getting a lot of hype in the community, and I think absolutely deservedly so. Opens with a nice combination of some aromatics, this nice juicy plum, this Palo Santo kind of infused with some black pepper. Just a really nice fresh cleanness that goes on there, just the right level of that fruity sweetness coming from that plum, and this really rich Palo Santo note with just a little pinch of this black pepper in there, giving it kind of a masculine woodiness, but it's running against that kind of clean aromatic as well as that juicy plum. Just a really nice combination of those notes. As you get towards the dry down, you get a nice creamy sandalwood that starts to form alongside this kind of dry style of amber, so it has a really nice wood medley that forms in the base, all for those kind of hazy aromatics, that juicy plum, that little touch of that black pepper to rest on, and it's just got this sexy, alluring, intoxicating style of scent DNA going to it that I absolutely love. Performance on this is pretty good, about 1.5 to 2 hours worth of solid projection, and I'm getting about 7-8 hours worth of longevity off my skin before it fades into a skin scent. So if you're looking for a really nice Initio Paragon style of clone, something that's got some freshness to it, a little bit of fruity sweetness, and a really nice wood profile, you definitely want to check this one out. That's Lattafa Pride's Vintage Radio. All right, up next, going back to the house of Armaf with Armaf's Club de Nuit Pursue 1. Now, this is a fantastic clone of the Creed Aventus Absolute and one of my favorite pickups this year by far. Really nice opening to this one, has some citrus, has that pineapple that comes through, but it also has this like caramel and this pear that added like an additional sweetness to it, mixing in with those citruses. Little bit of some kind of like watery green notes. You got some lily of the valley that works in through the base, and you do get some of those woody notes, a little bit of oak moss that comes through that really gives it that Creed style of DNA with that oak moss coming through. But in the opening, it's really about those citruses, having that like additional caramel and that pear that works its way in there. Just a really nice contrast between that brightness, those sweet accords, as well as little touches of that earthy and that woody tone. But as you get towards the dry down, it moves from that kind of fresh brightness and it really starts taking on kind of a deeper, darker style of scent profile. More of the woods come through, you get a nice cedar wood that works its way in there, a little bit of an ambroxan push coming through, that oak moss settles in a little bit more, so it really turns into this nice earthy, woody style of profile in the dry down, but you still get little kisses of those sweet accords, little touches of some citrus as well, and through, this is just a beautiful kind of distinguished, gentlemanly, yet bold, masculine style of fragrance that's just going to work across casual occasions, date nights. You can definitely dress this one up, and I think you can wear this pretty much all year round and get away with it. Absolutely beautiful, versatile, signature scent worthy style of fragrance, and the performance on this is fantastic. For longevity on this, 8-10 hours, and it does push off really well for the first 2 hours before it does settle back in. So bang for your buck. If you're looking for probably one of the best styles of signature scents, you definitely want to check this one out. That's Armaf's Club de Nuit Pursue 1. All right, next up, going to the house of Dumont with Dumont's Bravan Imperial. Now, this fragrance was a love at first sniff. I really enjoyed the scent profile on this one. Beautiful combination of some citruses at the top. You get some spices, nice dose of some vanilla, and a little hint of some earthiness. So you get this grapefruit, this bergamot, this pink pepper, all mixing in with this really nice kind of like vanilla infused, this incense infused vanilla, and it just has this brightness to it, this fresh spiciness to it, but it has this kind of sensual, creamy deliciousness to it with that vanilla that comes through, and that incense just adds a little bit of additional character to it. As you get towards the mid, you get a little bit more woods coming through, a little hits of some oak moss as well, so it forms this really nice kind of earthy, woody style of foundation, a very masculine style of foundation, but it has this kind of sweet, sexy, flirty top to it with that spiced vanilla that's in there, little hints of that citrus that remain, and through, it's just an absolutely gorgeous scent profile in this. Very versatile across different occasions, casual, great date night fragrance, and you can definitely dress this one up. Has this sort of distinguished vibe going on to it, but also a nice kind of flirty masculine vibe at the same point, and through absolutely works every single time. And the performance on this is really good. I get 2 hours of solid projection, no problem, and I am getting about 8+ hours worth of longevity off my skin. Some people have said that this is a clone of Alictus Imperial. Some people have said Cedrop Boisé. Some have said twist on Nichene's Annie. And even some have said that this is kind of a Creed Aventus that's really heavy on the vanilla. And to all those people, I would say you're correct. It really has that sort of vibe going on to it. I wouldn't argue with anyone that says that it smells like any one of those fragrances or a twist of any of those fragrances. It really does kind of pick from each one of those very well, and that's pretty much what you're gonna get. So if you're looking for that style of DNA, if you're looking for a nice spiced vanilla, nice kind of like woody base with some oak moss, a little bit of citrus mixed in there, you definitely wanna check this one out. That's Dumont's Bravan Imperial. All right, next up, going back to the house of Armaf with a new release from them, and it's Armaf's Odyssey Spectre Rainbow. Now, this is a twist on the Jean-Paul Gaultier's Ultramale, and they did a fantastic job on this one. Really enjoying this one. It is a bit of a twist, so it has that apple fruity sweetness in the opening versus that pear. Nice dose of some cinnamon, it's got some lavender. A little bit of this kind of this soft white floral that dances around the edges, kind of reminds me of an orange blossom, just kind of softens things off and it just adds an additional sweetness to it. And it really works well with this nice, fresh, clean style of lavender. The lavender in this is more prominent than the other fragrances like Afnan 9 PM and Lattafa Ram Silver. Both really good fragrances, but this one I find just has kind of a more fresh, clean, aromatic vibe going on to it. A little less sweetness than those other two, and it doesn't have that same sort of texture that the Ram Silver does, which has kind of a more of a warmer, cozier style of texture, whereas this one has a little bit more of a light, aromatic feel going on to it. And I really enjoy that twist that goes on with this one. As you get towards the mid and the dry down, that lavender sticks around. You still have that cinnamon spice that's there, but you get this really nice vanilla, this tonka that starts to come through, but you're still maintaining that soft, like white floral that sits around the edge and just turns into a beautiful kind of vanillic, cinnamon aromatic style of dry down that's very similar to the Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultramel DNA, and I'm really digging this one. I think this is a really well put together, good quality, and just a fantastic smelling fragrance. And the performance on this is pretty good. I'm getting 2 hours worth of solid projection, and it does last 7-8 hours on skin before it does fade into a skin scent. But getting some on my clothing, I find this does last a lot longer on clothing. So performance on this pretty good, and this smells absolutely fantastic. Great for all sorts of occasions, and you can pretty much wear this all year round, and definitely worth checking out. That's Armaf's Odyssey Spectre Rainbow. All right, last, but definitely not least, going with a new release from Afnan, and it's Afnan Supremacy Collector's Edition. Now, this fragrance is a twist on the Creed Aventus, kind of dips its toe into the Creed Absolute as well. And I know some people might be rolling their eyes about another Creed Aventus clone. Sometimes I'm one of those guys, but they did a really, really good job on this one. Really nice bright citruses at the top, bergamot, this beautiful photorealistic style of pineapple. Little touch of this apple sweetness, so it has this nice kind of crisp sweet apple that's in there, a little white floral around the edge, and this nice smoky birch that comes through as well. So a really nice contrast between some sweet accords, some soft florals, nice masculine birch that works its way in there, and those citruses with that pineapple kind of leading the charge. Absolutely gorgeous opening to this one. As you get towards the dry down, it turns into a little bit more of an ambery muskiness that comes through. There is a little poke of some oak moss that comes through. Not heavy on the oak moss, but it just adds just the right level of some earthiness to it, mixes with that birch as well. And through, you're just left with just an absolutely gorgeous, masculine, sophisticated, kind of distinguished sort of vibe, but it's got that little flirty edge to it with some of those sweetness accords that comes through and that smoky birch. Beautiful scent profile on this. Performance on this is great. I get 2 hours worth of solid projection, and I'm getting 8 to 10 hours worth of longevity off my skin. So if you're looking for a really good twist on that Creed Aventus style of DNA that dips its toes into the Absolute, you definitely want to check this one out. That's Afnan Supremacy Collector's Edition. All right, so there you have it. That's 10 signature scent fragrance clones that I think you should know about. But I want to hear from you guys. What is your signature scent? What's one fragrance you just reach for over and over again that we should all know about? Comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love getting your different recommendations, your hidden gems, different tastes and scent profiles. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.